Did you guys know that the funding and supplying of any weaponry or, just funding the Ukrainian Azov battalion was made illegal and prohibited and signed into law in 2018 by President Trump? None of the funds made available by this act may be used to provide arms, training, or other assistance to the Azov battalion. 2018 Omnibus Bill, Section 8129.
The culture in Ukraine is so racist. It goes back to World War II. If you're caught talking bad about the government, or you criticize the government or its actions in any form or fashion, or if you're caught looting, they will paint your face black, tie you against a pole, and leave you exposed to the environment. They actually still celebrate Nazi history there in Ukraine, particularly the SS 14th Grenadier Division. The 14th Waffen Grenadier Division of the SS, or 1st Galatians, was a World War II German military formation made up predominantly of military volunteers with a Ukrainian ethnic background from the area of Galatia. This is not a new thing. Neo-Nazis, or Nazism, of white supremacy in Ukraine has existed for more than 80 years. You see here, look at their colors, blue and yellow.
And some of the biggest supporters of the Azov battalion in Ukraine, they have been, cheerleading them on. They've been posting about them on social media. Free the Azov battalion. Free them from Russian control. Evacuate the Azov battalion from the Mariupol steelworks, right? They're Ukraine's bravest fighters, right? They should be saved, right? They should be free of any sort of criminal prosecution. Well, it's just interesting to see liberals cheerleading on fascist Nazis, but then again, if you look at the history of liberalism, I guess it's not all that surprising. It kind of falls in line with how liberals historically have acted towards Nazis. But there was a shooter in New York, and he was a young guy, and he killed 10 people in a Buffalo grocery store and directly outside a Buffalo grocery store. He streamed this killing spree on Twitch, the streaming platform that I got banned from for discussing the fact that Azov soldiers are Nazis and that there are biolabs in Ukraine funded by the United States of America. Yes, I understand the sick, twisted irony there that I got banned for exposing the fact that there's Nazism in Ukraine, as well as Haas of the Infrared Show got banned for showing this. We got banned a few weeks ago from Twitch. We used to dual stream there. And then now a Nazi, white supremacist, who had the N-word painted on his gun and slaughtered a bunch of innocent black people in a New York grocery store, was wearing that same black sun emblem that the Azov battalion wears while he was streaming this all to Twitch. It's sick. Apparently, the kid, when he went in, the person, when he went in, he started firing on black people. And I guess he walked over to another person he saw lying on the ground, pointed his gun at him, saw it was a white person, said sorry, and went and didn't kill him, and then kept walking back to go kill other black people, which he did. This was planned on Discord. It was streamed on Twitch. So let's take a look at this story, because what's so interesting is that a lot of liberals right now are saying that this shooter was influenced by Tucker Carlson, and it's Tucker Carlson's fault that this shooting took place and that these innocent black people were slaughtered in broad daylight by a white supremacist Nazi. When in reality, what's even more damning is that this shooter was actually influenced by the Azov Nazi Ukrainian ideology, and he was sporting some of their emblems. And these are the same Azov Nazis that all the liberals in the United States who are pointing the finger at Tucker Carlson, they themselves support. Buffalo shooter used same symbol as Ukraine's Azov, Russian diplomat says. The West will try to distract the public from this awkward fact, Russia's deputy envoy to the UN says. Russia's deputy ambassador to the United Nations, along with dozens of keen-eyed social media users, have pointed out that the suspect in Saturday's deadly shooting in the U.S. used the same neo-Nazi symbol as Ukraine's Azov regiment, the Sonnenrad, or Black Sun symbol, which adorned the manifesto published by the Buffalo shooter has for years featured on the insignia of Ukraine's Azov regiment and is commonly used image among white supremacists and neo-Nazi groups. The main suspect in the Buffalo shooting, 18-year-old Peyton Gindrin, stands accused of killing 10 people and injuring 3 others in what police believe to be a racially motivated crime. He's reported to be a white supremacist inspired by the mass shooting in Christchurch, New Zealand, right? Just like the perpetrator of the Christchurch shooting, Gindrin left an online manifesto explaining his ideology prior to launching his live stream killing spree. The manifesto prominently featured an alternate version of the Black Sun, and images circulating online showed him wearing it on his clothes. Is the same one used by the Azov Battalion for their original insignia, alongside a wolf symbol, another Nazi-linked symbol. Here we have a tweet from Kevin Rothbrook. The Azov symbol is in the news, not just in Slovakia, but also in Buffalo, where Saturday's vile racist mass shooter was a fan of the same altered black sun that the Azov uses behind its wolf symbol. The first page of Peyton Gindrin's hate manifesto reportedly contains the same symbol. So there it is on his symbol, and there's the same exact altered black sun with the little, 90-degree angle, and the Azov symbol. So you have the same exact symbol, altered black sun symbol, used by the shooter in Buffalo, New York, that slaughtered 10 innocent black civilians, as the Azov Battalion, which again, liberals are cheerleading this group, and they are pointing the finger at Tucker Carlson, not the Azov Battalion, for being responsible for the ideology that led this individual for killing civilians in Buffalo, New York. Ryan Knight pointed out the Buffalo shooter wrote in his manifesto that he was inspired by the New Zealand white supremacists who murdered 51 people in 2019. And guess who the New Zealand shooter wrote about in their manifesto? The neo-Nazi Azov Battalion, who the U.S. government is funding. The Buffalo shooter inspired by New Zealand shooter who's inspired by the neo-Nazi Azov Battalion in Ukraine. Please stop funding Nazis in Ukraine, Joe Biden. Here you have it. You have Black Sun, a variation of a sun wheel. It is an extremely popular and extensively used neo-Nazi white power extremist symbol, famously used on the armored weapons of Christchurch mosque shooter Brenton Tarrant, who killed 51 and injured 40. Here you have Azov, blue and yellow are the colors of the Ukrainian flag, coat of arms of Ukraine down below, and a wolf symbol, German heraldic charge inspired by historic wolf traps adopted by the Nazi Party, used prominently by Wehrmacht and SS units. Aaron Mate also points out that on the shooter's first page of his manifesto, you see displayed here proudly, openly, and quite prominently, the altered black sun logo, which is literally the Azov Battalion logo as well. Okay, so there's no defense of this, yet liberals keep screaming that no, there's no connection when there clearly is a connection.
We have to move.
Well, that patch on the soldier's arm is the symbol of Nazi Germany's SS division known as Death's Head. The division was formed of concentration camp guards at the start of the Second World War, and it was known for the mass murder of war prisoners, including 97 British soldiers captured in France in 1940. No mention of any of this was made during